Hello and welcome to the tutorial. If you have problems understanding my accent, just follow along with the screen and I'm sure it will be fine. The first thing we need to do is create a car. Let's boot up the game. Once the game is loaded, go to single player and select team. Add a vehicle. We're going to use the Porsche for the tutorial. You can use the same details as me or use your own. Whoops. Nope. God damn it. Nationality, Scottish. I like the number 1 banner, the Fanatec one. I usually have the car totally black and I have my wheels matte with black and grey 1 in 10. Save the vehicle and confirm the vehicle to be selected for use. Exit the game. Okay, now the Assetto Corsa Competizione file system is really simple. It's stored in My Documents. If you go to My Documents, you'll see the folder Assetto Corsa Competizione. You're probably familiar with this folder for other reasons. The custom liveries are stored in the customs folder. We use the cars folder and the liveries folder. If we go into the cars folder, we will see a newly created file, and that's the car we just created. Let's rename the file. I'm going to call mine Monster Energy _100 and the name of the vehicle. Oops, I think that's right. Now, once you rename it, we're going to copy the name of it. So let's rename and we will copy. I'm used to using a lot of shortcuts with the keyboard, but I'll try my best to use the menu so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Once we copy the name, we're going to edit the file with text editor, and immediately we can see the race number. Some other details that we can change in the future if we want. You can Google those and see what all those mean. They're self-explanatory. If you remember in the game we had like sponsor and stuff, so here's the settings for those. Now the custom skin name is the line we're interested in. We need to paste in the name of the file. This is actually going to get directed to a folder name in Liveries. So once we paste that in there, let's save the file. Okay. Now if we go into the Liveries folder, there's nothing in there. We need to create the necessary files so we can start customizing them. Now we're pretty much done with the cars folder. That's it. It's all in the liveries folder now. So let's boot up the game once again. Once the game is loaded, same again, we're going to single player, go to team, we edit the vehicle and just press save. Overwrite existing car, yes. Okay, that says let's go back. Let's exit the game, confirm. Now in the liveries folder you can see we've got a new folder, and in that folder we have the materials. Now you can change these values to get a different effect on your car: satin, gloss, metallic, etc. There should be files along with the tutorial. Extract them to a folder in a location you're familiar with. I'm going to extract them to my desktop. in that folder we have a driver name template for the Porsche. You can put your driver name wherever you want. This is the font and the template. We're going to use that later. We have the logos we're going to be using. We've got the 3D mesh for the Porsche. We're going to need that for mud. We'll go take a look at that. We have the default Assetto Corsa sponsors PNG. We may use some of the sponsors. I typically only use the emergency cutoff, and sometimes use the default ones as placement, so you know where to place them. And we have the solid wireframe. Solid meaning it's just got a black background. Copy the sponsors PNG into the newly created Monster Energy folder, and you can see it corresponds to the JSON file. We need to create the base material, the decals.png. We're going to create that, and we're going to create it from scratch using the wireframe.png. So let's go to Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop 2021, but you may have an earlier version, that's fine. It's all the same. The tools we're going to be using in Photoshop are all the basic tools. It's not a Photoshop tutorial. I'll try really hard not to use the shortcut keys. I'll try really hard to use the menus and icons so you can see what I'm doing and what I'm pressing. I'm going to drag the UV wireframe into Photoshop. I'm going to press Ctrl and numpad 0, and that will center the image. Duplicate the layer. For the background layer, get a nice colour your eyes are comfortable with. I like purple. That's Alt and Backspace for the foreground colour. We're going to uncheck the padlock. Going to call it background. Okay. We're going to put this in a group. We're going to call it UV. And what we're going to do is we're going to select a razor tool. We're going to make sure tolerance is at 0 and there's no anti-aliasing on. Holding the space bar, we can pan around. If we hold in Alt, left Alt, we can use the mouse wheel and zoom in and out. So between the mouse wheel and Alt and space bar, we can navigate around. As I said, this isn't a Photoshop tutorial, but I will kind of chuck out navigation tips. So let's start erasing. We need to erase all the holes in the mesh. We can see them because they've got a green border. Like this is a typical example. If you're not sure if it's a hole in the mesh, don't delete it. I think I made a mistake there. Just undo it just in case. I think I clipped too much while moving. Just scan through and get all the holes. We can see the modelers have used the space efficiently. And just look through just in case you've missed any tiny little ones, and we'll see why it's important in a minute. Control numpad 0. We can see one down there. You might think that's a hole, but there's no green border. But what we can see is these two, and we'll have a corresponding symmetrical part to this one. Okay, I'm quite satisfied. Okay, now if we hold control and press the background copy, it's going to make a selection of all the parts. If we zoom in, we can see the selection's pretty good, but we want to be safe. If we go to select, modify and expand the selection by 1 pixel, press OK. We can see that it's expanded the selection. Create a new layer, call it selection. This is what we're going to be using to create or isolate pretty much everything from now on. With the selection layer selected, press Alt and backspace. It will fill the selection with the foreground colour. Purple is fine for the moment. Control and D will deselect. We want to hide this layer because we're only going to use it for selection with control and clicking on the icon on the layer. Control and D to deselect. With left Alt pressed in, if we drag it down to the bottom, it will copy it. We're going to rename it base colour. We can use American spelling or the British spelling, up to yourself. Okay. So with the base colour layer selected, let's create a new group from layers, and we're going to call it base colour. And we're going to do a colour overlay. If you don't see colour overlay, come down here to effects, show all effects. Colour overlay, the green I'm going to be using is already selected. I'll make sure I'll get that included with the files. Press OK. Now we're not seeing anything. What's happening? Okay, if we go to the UV and we select screen for the filter, and we've got the UV here. Now let's hide the UV for the moment. I'll hide the background. That's us got our base colour. Now let's save the document, save the PSD, and we'll save it to wherever you extracted your files, and we'll call it something meaningful, like Monster Porsche. Okay. Now we can save as and go to PNG, but what I like to do is go to export, save for web. And we want to make sure we've got a 24-bit PNG, and we have transparency enabled. Let's go to save. Let's navigate to documents, Competizione folder, customs, liveries, our newly created Monster Energy folder, and we're going to call this decals.png. I'm going to press save. Okay, brilliant. If we go back and look, we've generated all the files. Now, in order to efficiently work between the game, mud and Photoshop, we need to go back into the My Documents, the setup cursor, and go into the config folder, and we will see a file called menu settings.json. If we right click that and edit it with the text editor, we want to find DDS, find next, and we'll come across this text DDS. We want to change the 1 to a 0 and save the file. Now this is temporary. At the end, we need the game to generate the DDS files for us, so we want to come in and change that back to 1 when we're finished. But for the moment, change it to 0 and save it. Let's go back to the customs and liveries folder, and the folder we're working in, the Monster Energy, and you can see we've got default decals and sponsors. Let's bit up the game and just let's see what the green looks like, and if any kind of things leaking out. Back to the black base colour which the game has created. And so we'll put all this down to the bottom. Let's go into the game. Now at this point, if we didn't edit the menu settings JSON file, the game would create DDS files based on the files, the sponsors.png and decals.png that we've got in the folder. And then the next time we boot up the game would use the DDS files. We don't want that. We want the game to use the PNG files just now while we're working on them. Once the game boots up, a single player, and we can see our car already. Middle mouse to hide the little HUD thing, and looks good. You can see the sponsors.png overlay, and you can see the base green colour that we created from the UV. Everything looks good.